Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
Princess Salama felt unwell, not exactly sick, but sad and tired all the time. Her father, King Suleiman, was worried and upset. Salama was a beautiful princess with golden hair, blue eyes like a summer sky, and a bright smile. She was smart and kind, and everyone loved her. But even with all her beauty and kindness, Princess Salama was unhappy. She felt very sad, and her heart felt heavy. Her father would ask, "What is wrong, my dear?" But she wouldn't answer. She just sat quietly and didn't cry or smile. The king called in all the wise men and magicians to find out what was wrong. They were from many places, like Egypt and China, and each tried different ideas. One man studied the stars, another made a special drink, and one even went to talk to the princess herself. He learned that she was simply tired of her life as a princess. She wanted more freedom and to do things on her own. Then the oldest magician said, "I think she is in love." After some discussion, the wise men agreed that she might be happier if she married and went to a new land. Though the king was sad about the idea, he agreed to let her marry. Many princes came from faraway lands to ask for her hand in marriage. Some brought gifts and many servants, while others sent messengers to see if she was good enough. But Salama sent those messengers away, saying they did not play fair. When the king saw all the suitors, he said to his daughter, "Pick the one you like best, Salama." "None," she replied. The king sighed and said, "Oh dear. Now we'll have to return all their gifts." But Salama didn't care about that. She didn't even listen when her father said it would make him look bad. Finally, he asked, "Then what do you want, my daughter?" "I will marry someone who isn't foolish and who cares about more than just himself." The king thought carefully. "You don't think any of these princes are worthy of you?" "Listen, Father," she said, "I want to obey you, but should I marry any of these silly men? Take Prince Hafiz. He only talked about battles and all the people his soldiers killed. I don't want to rule where there is no peace." Then, Prince Aziz only cares about hunting, not about his people. And Prince Guzman talked only about his jewels. Prince Abdul drinks all day, and Prince Hassan doesn't even know how his people live. The king listened, surprised. This was wise talk for a princess. "Oh, father," she cried, "I can't rule a land where the king cares only for himself. I want to rule where a king makes his people happy and safe." The king left, thinking deeply, then said to his wizards, "My daughter thinks like someone from the future." The magicians didn't laugh. They whispered, looked in old books, and gazed into crystals. Then they told the king that the stars said Princess Salama would marry a poor man. They felt clever for figuring this out, guessing it was because the princess didn't like the princes. King Suleiman was furious. He told Salama what the wizards had said. She just replied, "How nice," which made the king angrier. He decided to lock her up in a fortress on a tiny island far away. He had the place fixed up luxuriously, and she was secretly taken there one night. Salama didn't mind and said, "At least I'll be free from this silly palace life." When the princess disappeared, the people were sad. She had been good and kind to them, and now she was gone. They didn't know if she had left without saying goodbye or something else had happened. The king also became quiet and gloomy, but he began to care about the poor. He asked them strange questions for a king. How do you earn money? Do you have any fun? What are your dreams? The king's new interest made his people happier, and the palace started working on ideas to help with jobs, trade, and schools. The news even reached a young shepherd who loved lying in the sun, listening to birds and the sounds of nature. He wondered, will I learn to read and write someday? Maybe I could write down the song of the brook and birds for others to enjoy. The shepherd drifted into sleep and woke up late to find the sun setting. The cows and sheep, already moving toward home, made noise that woke him. He hurried to guide them back safely, making sure none strayed off the path. All was going well until, close to home, a giant bird, called Aziz, appeared in the sky and attacked the herd. The shepherd fought the huge bird with a stick, allowing the animals to run away. But the Aziz caught one of the cows lagging behind. The shepherd grabbed the cow's legs to save it, wrapping his leg around a tree. The bird tried to peck him, but missed and hit the tree instead, breaking it. Now, with nothing to hold on to, the bird flew up with the shepherd still clinging to the cow. The bird soared higher and higher. Afraid to let go, the shepherd held on tightly as the bird flew over the land, then over the sea. Unsure what to do, he closed his eyes, thinking he might fall or be eaten. Suddenly, the bird stopped. The shepherd hit the ground hard and was stunned. He looked around and saw he was on top of a tall tower in the sea, with the cow beside him. The Aziz aimed to strike him, but the shepherd pulled out his knife, stabbing the bird's tongue. The bird cried in pain and flew away, disappearing into the sky. Exhausted, the shepherd fell asleep. When he woke up, he saw a beautiful woman standing nearby. It was Princess Salma. She asked, "Who are you, and how did you come here with this cow on this tower in the sea?" "I'm not sure," he answered. "I might be dreaming, as my story is unbelievable." Then he told her everything. The princess said nothing but motioned for him to follow her. She brought him food, which he ate eagerly, and then led him to a place to wash up. "Wash up and put on these clothes," said the princess, handing him some garments. "Then I have many questions for you." The shepherd felt much better after bathing. Dressed in the princess's clothing, he returned to her. She looked at him so intently that he blushed. "You are strong and good-looking," she said. The shepherd stammered, "My lady, I don't know who you are, but you look like a princess." "I'm only a poor shepherd." "And can't a shepherd be handsome?" she asked. "There's no rule that only royalty must look good. I have seen princes who look far worse." She didn't say more, not wanting to reveal her secret. In a quiet room in the tower, she even brought him food and cushions for him to sleep on, despite his protests. The next morning, they climbed to the top of the tower together. "I come here every morning," said the princess. "Why?" asked the shepherd. "To see if my husband is coming," she replied. "Who is he?" asked the shepherd. She laughed. "I don't know. Sometimes when I feel very lonely, I think of marrying the first man who comes here." The shepherd was silent, then looked at her and said, You told me I'm the first man who has come to you. I love you. Will you marry me? The princess held out her hand. It is meant to be, she said, accepting him as her husband. We can't stay here forever, she said. Can you think of a way for us to escape? The shepherd looked at the remains of the ox, thinking. I have an idea, he said. The big bird that brought me here may return for its meal. It can carry us away. That night, the ziz returned to eat. While it was distracted, the shepherd tied ropes to its legs and attached a large basket. He and the princess climbed in with cushions and food, ready for their journey. Early in the morning, the ziz bird lifted off, flying high over the sea. The shepherd and princess held each other tightly as the basket spun. The bird didn't seem to notice them at first, but grew tired after hours of flying. Spotting a tall tower, the ziz swooped low and tried to shake off the basket, slamming it into the tower. The cord snapped, leaving the basket resting on the tower ledge. The bird flew away, and the shepherd and princess climbed out safely. Just then, guards appeared. Seeing the princess, they bowed. Tell my father I have returned, she said. The shepherd asked, Do you know where we are? Yes, this is my father's palace, she replied. The king soon arrived, overjoyed to see his daughter. I am so glad you're back. Forgive me for sending you away. Tell me of your journey. Then he saw the shepherd. And who is this? My husband, she said, her eyes bright with happiness. The king asked, What prince are you? The princess answered, He is a true prince, a man from the people who knows how to help them. The king blessed them both, giving them a province to rule where they worked to make everyone happy and prosperous.